Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Vega Squadron's turn to ban. Radiant team ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Global Grandmasters playoffs. We're here in our second best of 3 in day 2 of the playoff coverage. Our final match in the opening round of 8 best of 3 matchups. Here we've got Vega Squadron versus Finem. This should be a good one. The odds looking pretty darn even. Dota 2 Lounge, even more even than the live odds we've got here. Dota 2 Lounge, literally 50-50 on this matchup, so usually a sign that we've got something good before us. I'm Zyori, joined again by Modpax. We're from Moonduck TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Trent, my man, how you feeling today?
Feeling good. I wager you might be feeling a little disappointed. I was all excited to give you the good news about this matchup because I thought we were going to get the Dazzle coming out here, and then Finem going first phase, ban it. A direct insult to you, my man.
I know, it really is. Although we have seen a lot of Dazzle play so far in this playoff. Honestly, I feel like I've gotten my Dazzle fix. We've also seen a boatload of Darkseer. I feel like more often than not, we have seen Darkseer be that playmaker that changes the tone of the game. We've seen so many huge team fight vacuum wall combos that, you know, I'm not disappointed to see the Darkseer. It gives me some high hopes and high expectations here for Vega.
Yeah, we'll see how Finem want to try and handle that. A couple different scenarios, right? You either go for the support that's against it. So like Finem have been playing a lot of like IO Dazzle for the most part. It's kind of like one of their big pairings, so they're going another defensive support like a Wyvern, but they don't go for those like disruptors, all classic Darkseer counters, and maybe the Oracle might fit there as being that defensive capability as well as that slight counter to the Darkseer. Again, still off that just by Iron Talon. It's fine for the Darkseer, but they also have done that whole like anti-mage thing that we saw earlier versus the Darkseer, where they attempted that from Flipside versus Bulldog. Didn't go too well. I mean, we thought they were going to get it, but
yeah, it's still a good hero to deal with the Darkseer, though. You can absorb the damage, as we talked about with the Spell Shield, but you've got mana burn, and a Darkseer without mana is a Darkseer that really can't be too intimidating, especially in that early laning phase when his mana pool is much more delicate. Finem, though, with the safe meta pick, Elder Titan, a very safe opener here, as we've seen, controlling the Roche Pit, setting up those late game team fights, and also just being annoying early on with Echo Stomp, Natty Order combos, even great scouting tool. You know, there was a while where when Beastmaster was first pick, first ban, right as he was coming back into popularity, teams were really prioritizing vision. You know, we were still seeing Zeus picks quite a bit, and Elder Titan wasn't played then, but he fits into that mindset. The Astral Spirit, one of the better scouting tools for looking around in the tree line, sneaky deaky like. All around, he's a beast. Timbersaw, the other beast of the meta, going to be the second pick for Finem. I mean, if meta predictions hold true here, Trent, I think Finem are off to a good start.
Yeah, this is a little interesting. So, obviously, not making the TI a little bit disappointing. So, Finem are now going to go through that kind of branch where they're going to be playing all these other tournaments that are up and coming. Still a squad that everyone's looking to stay together because everyone was hoping they'd make it to TI. Thought they had a really good chance, but this is stepping outside of their usual comfort zone. This is they've run for Thug before, at least not recently. They didn't use it during those TI qualifiers. They weren't running it in the offlane at all either. So, we'll see exactly where they want to send us. A little bit of a mystery pick here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, both these teams falling short in the qualifiers. Vega, even worse than Finem. They didn't even make the top 5 for a chance to move into the wild card. That was where Finem eventually didn't come quite up to snuff. Both these teams, though, they both are similar in the sense that they have that history. You know, Vega had that breakout movement after TI5, and they had been a pretty long-standing squad before that and stayed together afterwards. And Finem, a similar mark. They did switch rosters a little bit when they switched from London Conspiracy to Finem, but
5 seconds
I like that these teams have shown that you can really improve over time if you stick together, work on that team dynamic. It's not just about having all the all-stars at the right time, you know? It's a different side of Dota.
Yeah, for sure. Vega Squadron, I'm really liking their opener here, though. I mean, we're talking about this Timbersaw Elder Titan. Solo, to me, is... I feel like we're always talking about position 4 players, first off, like every squad. They've really had some humongous opportunities to step up in the past couple patches with Elder Titan, well, I guess with Elder Titan, but mostly with like Earth Spirit, the whole Bounty Hunter phase, the Enchantress phase as well. Solo specifically stepping up during that one. But his Night Stalker play has always been fantastic. His play in like Shadow Shaman and Lina split pushing waves. This guy can play any 4-role hero, and now you're giving him the benefit of that Ion Shell on top of his Stalker. So this is where he just wants to totally take over this Dire off lane. If they want to work together, they can shut down what kind of a core Advenom said down there, and maybe that's where they might see something like this Timbersaw matchup and say, maybe this is something we can abuse. Like, seeing some teams run that safe lane Timbersaw, they could say, we might need someone a little bit tanky here unless we're going to more classic counters than like the Juggernaut with the Healing Ward versus the Darkseer or something like that, but a nice controlling support in the line will certainly help against that. Maybe defensive stuff like the Witch Doctor could have been considered too, as we usually see versus Darkseer Night Stalker.
Yeah, I do like this Lion choice. Good to have just control against the Darkseer in particular. Night Stalker is just a classic hero for Vega Squadron. I think it really fits their general mentality and play style, and not a bad Infest Bomb carrier as they move into a Lifestealer with their third, especially at nighttime. Pretty speedy, can cruise around. You've got a silence for lockdown, all the follow-up from Lifestealer. If Lifestealer eventually gets a Basher as well, gives you even more lockdown with that dubious duo. We'll see what Finem does come back. Vega very light on stuns right now, though. They've got 4 very beefy, kind of aggressive, strong laners, but their general team fight, I think, still leaves something to be desired compared to this Elder Titan Timbersaw Lion trio.
Yeah, but who needs team fight if you're just going to run over Finem before Timber is that relevant? This is 0 to 100 right now. Iron Shells, the early armlet from the Lifestealer. Another thing that's kind of surprising is the fact this has all come out with the IO still being played here before Vega Squadron. They're someone who have, much like Finem, they're always willing to take that thing up here, but as discussed, there he is, the Jug. Throw out that Healing Ward versus the Ion Shell, try and hold back some of that pressure coming into your wave. And it does a really good job of it too. It's certainly one of the better ones. Sometimes you'll see like even 2 points into that Healing Ward early on. So Lion Jug, I'm feeling a little bit better about this whole early aggression thing.
Yeah, I like that they get some healing into the mix as well. Timbersaw is pretty beefy himself with his reactive armor, but now Juggernaut has his Healing Ward to add into the mix, and they can defend the 5-mans a little more easily. Curious how Vega are going to round out this draft now. They're going to need their mid as well as their second support. And I imagine they'll pick up the support here. You referenced the Witch Doctor could definitely work.
I think Disruptor would have been like by far the ideal one, so it's very good they banned that out.
Yeah.
With Night Stalker and the Vision Abuse, there's so much that you can do. Other classic heroes for them, like we said, I mean, that Dazzle being banned out, Vega Squadron really looking towards that. The Phoenix is still in there. It's okay with the Lifestealer, but then you have a Juggernaut, and he just spins and kills your Supernova, so...
Yeah, I mean,
Rubik
could be okay if that's a route they want to go. Some decent spells to steal. Not an amazing Rubik game, but certainly not a bad one.
They don't have last pick, so they could go for like a no one puck here if they're worried about that getting banned out. But then you kind of have that whole single core Lifestealer that we talked about, so they're early on needs to be like very quick. Okay, so they'll go for the secondary core. I really like this.
Yeah,
much better than a puck.
Of all the mid laners to be banned out, I think this one is pretty high up there in terms of priority. Very sustainable as well. Now gives them some pushing prowess. You know, with these kind of good lane matchups, sometimes I ask myself, how do you break high ground? That's an issue that Night Stalker has. He's good at killing heroes, not so good at killing buildings. Lifestealer, until he gets Desolator at least, can have a similar problem in the early game. Death Prophet, though, completely solves that issue. Now they can pick fights, pick also the Infest Bombs, and then easily just transition into tower pushes. Roshan's, they are Dire side. This draft kind of starting to come together. I do like it, though. A lot of burst damage coming DP's way. All 4 of these heroes have some way to kind of burst her down. Even just the Earth Splitter will be a pretty effective tool against the Lifestealer Death Prophet combo. I still think this Finem team fight is pretty damn scary.
Yeah, and well, as they try and figure out through that burst, there's that ban on the Witch Doctor, another one of those saving supports with the Oracle and Dazzle already gone. They're getting into like the C tier list of healers to try and keep a Death Prophet alive. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get an Omni Knight coming out here, so we might end up with something like that Rubik instead, where they'll just try and opt for more control. And the question remains though, Finem, what will they be thrown out here into either the mid or the off lane? I think Timbersaw should be okay versus the DP, and I think it's a pretty safe ban on a Slider. Just that Knight's control, a little bit of minus armor on the DP could have been good for them.
Yep. Vega, do they want here? Witch Doctor, I think a very smart ban.
10 seconds remaining.
There aren't really too many sustainability heroes left. I mean, Wisp is still in the
5
pool.
seconds remaining.
That would be pretty interesting. I know Solo, obviously one of the best Wisp players that is around right now, so I'd be surprised if they went for it, just because like overall greed kind of a situation there, despite how value it is. But it is also, as you say, one of the sustained heroes, so maybe in the end that'll make it worth it. You just play a little bit of a poverty IO.
Yeah. I still think Rubik could be an okay option. There is a lot of stuff to steal.
No, it's very good.
I think
he
the
works
null
out pretty
field
well.
kind of helps against the natural order.
Some slight counterplay there, yeah, a little bit. Jabby. Maybe a swap from Avenge if you're feeling that too. Some nice, maybe more magic damage to try and get through this Timbersaw, because through the DP and the Life Stealer, it is a lot of physical. And it'll basically just be like Iron Shell and Voids trying to get through that Timbersaw massive HP.
Remaining.
With a lot of armor stacked on, and unfortunately the line being gone, and that Shadow Shaman, so that's another kind of classic hero for them, but again, still a little bit greedy.
Yeah, the Shadow Shaman, it's a very hit or miss pick. This hero can get a lot of early momentum if he finds good rotations. If he can use the wards to find objectives early, it's incredible. But speaking about another hero that is really not popular in this meta right now, the Clockwork for Finem. 2 interesting picks to finish it off. We're going to come back after this and load into game number 1. All right, here we are, game number 1, Finem versus Vega. So what are we thinking about these final picks here, Trent? Shadow Shaman and Clockwork. Of course, the Shadow Shaman going to give a lot more pushing power to Vega. If they can win these mid-game team fights, they will be able to punish. They'll be able to easily take Roshan's. Radiant Squad, Clockwork. A lot of pressure on Skylark here. This has not been an easy hero to execute with on this patch.
Yeah, it really hasn't. I'm a little bit... I'm liking it, I'm hating it at the same time. I'm kind of giving it a little bit of hate only because of how good it used to be versus Lifestealer. Maybe that's just clouding my judgment a little bit there, like that whole nerf to the cogs. Very disappointing now that you can just rage through, cut into that Clockwork, and it just... you don't get nearly as much that presence of a counter pick up against something like that, moving that mid-game phase. Not sure how much control they really be able to offer, but at the same time, the reason why we've seen so much struggle for this Clockwork lately is the lack of a good Iron Talon hero, right? He can't do his thing in the jungle. However, in this game, with this Night Stalker and Shadow Shaman, if he can hold those 2 heroes up in the top lane, that's actually worth it. Clockwork can certainly dominate 2 heroes at the same time, so if it's just Yoma and the Lifestealer with some really good play, maybe it'll be enough that Solo has to come up top, and that could save that whole mid and safe lane for Finem here.
Yeah, very true. Counterboard going to come out for the Radiant. Nice start for Finem. Get a little vision control of that bottom rune. Looks like the bounties will just be 1 apiece. No one will secure the top, and down bottom it will go to Thug on the Timbersaw. So Madara going to be playing the Juggernaut, a player kind of notorious for those mobile carries. I know he really likes the Ember Spirit, the Slark. Those are kind of the top 2 that I think of. Prioritizing the Juggernaut here, I think one of the biggest aspects is definitely that healing ward. We talked about it in the picking phase just a little bit, but they don't have too much sustainability on their team, so just having that healing ward will really help them out in these team fights. They have a lot of ways to reset as well. Now you've got Cogs, the Line Stun from the Lion, the Echo Stomp, so even just a couple seconds to spend near that precious healing ward can make all the difference in these longer engagements.
Yeah, and being percent based as well. It's massive for a Timbersaw who gets into those bigger HP pools here for Thug, so he can just kind of chill near that ward for a couple seconds before chaining away and get a little more regen coming in from not just his reactive armor. And talking about Madara heroes, this is definitely his, like, you are correct in the Ember and the Slark for sure, but in his top 3, there's no question I'm throwing a Jug.
Yeah.
This guy put up some pretty serious games during the regional qualifiers as well.
Oh, mid lane, no one. Gets Echo Stomped, but he gets off a Spirit Siphon. Will be able to survive through it, heals up, but it's a pretty long cooldown at level 1. This is a pretty good start for the Timbersaw. Just one Echo Stomp is all it takes to shift the momentum in this lane. Solo, he's just going to go jungle. Iron Talon level 1 on the Night Stalker, so we'll try to secure some farm for himself. But the Spartan, pardon me, already rotating in, looking to leech XP. Skylark up top. Ooh, almost in trouble, but FN actually takes a lot of damage from that tower as well as the cogs. And it ends up being a favorable trade from the Clockwork.
Yeah, one thing with Clockwork though, look how depressing this is. He has 1 HP regen. Oh, okay, now he goes up to 8.2, but other than that, it's a base of 1, which is just something that has, like, brought other offlaners back in, and it's one thing that just totally kills Clockwork. It's so bad. Like, he just has nothing. He can't just sit back and, like, come back into the lane. It's every bit of harass has so much value from Vega, and with only a salve and 2 tangos left, Skylark's time is nearly done up here.
Yeah. One of the other aspects of the Juggernaut we didn't mention is pretty good against the Darkseer. We're talking about the Anti-Mage, but again, that healing ward in combo with Blade Fury to deal with the magic damage. Jug can definitely handle it. Mag, 2 last hits. He's doing okay in the lane. At least the Darkseer is getting experience. He should have a slightly better time than this Clockwork, I would imagine, as things continue. One of the other issues with the Clockwork is it's hard for him to recover. He's not really a hero that can reliably go Iron Talon and then just farm it up in the jungle. A little bit too slow for him, so he's sort of forced to stick around in lane and try and leech to level 6. That's kind of his only option.
Yeah, and he needs to be the propellant in this game, because what happens if he has a bad time? So let's say that this goes total shit and he leeches like the entire time, gets 6 at like, 9 minutes or something, like really late. Who's he going to pair up with to try and make that recovery play? It's not going to be a Timbersaw. He's not going to be ready in time. He's not going to have the levels to do that, assuming he has to go for a build that is more capable of dealing with no one. And it's not going to be Juggernaut, who just wants to farm.
Cogs up top. Sayoma taking a lot of damage from this Clockwork. Does Skylark actually get the first blood here? Not looking like it. He's level 3,
like
no point in Rocket
in
Flare.
nutshell.
Has to be one of the most frustrating experiences he's had so far in this game. He survives through it despite the odds. Denied the first blood. So close, yet so far.
And there it is. That's Clockwork the past 2 patches. Yeah, it's exactly how it feels. You come so close and you have all this damage from Battery Assault, but you just can't quite find that last little element that you need. Spartan, though, this is why Elder Titan's a hero.
Yeah,
Shaman
this is
denies
ridiculous.
himself.
He misses the stomp. I think if he connects there, he actually gets the kill. Night Stalker with just an Iron Talon, actually not that tanky, even though he is a high EHP hero. The Elder Titan can definitely go blow for blow with him. Even so, this Elder Titan has been getting a lot of work done. He's already level 2. Night Stalker still only level 1. He's pretty low on HP. Spartan almost has some kill potential here. Gets slowed up. And as we're looking at this, we're going to miss the first blood down bottom on the Darkseer, but that's okay. Somebody's dying here. It looks like it's going to be Spartan. Sayoma does rotate in, hits him with the shackles. That will secure a kill. Unfortunately for Vega, though, they don't get the first blood. It does go to the Lion down bottom. Looks like a similar combo here, just Lion Hex into Madara's spin. Pretty easy setup there to get a kill on the Ishkafel.
Yeah, that's eventually kind of just going to happen in that lane, I think. He was pushing his limits there from Meg, and I guess we haven't really talked about that. Meg Darkseer, I mean, probably one of the bigger player-hero combinations that there really are, especially for the team of Vega. It would be like no one Puck and Meg Darkseer, so Beastmaster, of course, also very formidable, but hero he spent quite a bit of time on, and also a hero that teams do tend to ban up against them, so we'll see if he can like pull this game out just like Bulldog did in a little bit of a dire situation earlier.
Up top, Sayoma, yeah, caught inside of the cogs. It's a level 2 Battery Assault. Clockwork with some solo kill potential actually picks it up. That's a big misplay from the Shadow Shaman. One of the reasons why this hero, I think, can be a little bit risky.
He doesn't have boots. There's, alright, I mean, I guess the Shaman doesn't have boots either, but Skylark got a kill without boots. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You just keep doing you, man.
I don't want to say this is a dream start for the Clockwork with only 3 last hits, but this is about as good as it gets. In terms of Clockwork games that I saw at the TI6 qualifiers, this is a great start. He's got a solo kill. He's halfway through 4. Even just getting experience is enough for him. The hook shot is where it's at to find kills and pressure around the map. We're moving into the first night cycle, though. Solo on the Night Stalker, level 3, rotating down bottom. Ethershock doing a lot of damage here. Crypt Swarm from the hasted up Death Prophet gets 1 kill. Maybe next time trying to run through the trees, but no one will bring him down with 1 stray auto attack, a double kill for the DP, and with the haste rune, it's a value rotation. He's going to scurry right back towards the mid lane and go straight to farming.
Yep, the pressure from Finem is not in any sort of a counterplay down bottom. It's just going to be up top on FN, but in the end, pretty difficult for these two to get a kill up on him. So FN, he's zoned away from the creeps for sure, but certainly worth it in the end for Vega. Oh, what's one of those guys that are coming in? If only he had a little bit more mana.
Yeah, Elder Titan, no arcane boots or anything like that. Not going to be able to help him out on that front, but Skylark, they're putting a lot of pressure on here. They're going to sandwich him. Maybe they can get an Echo Stomp. It'll do a decent chunk of damage and bring him down low. Doesn't have enough mana for the Rage.
He's still got Mango, though.
He's got mana for something. Maybe he can get off a Battery Assault here. He does. Can he close the gap? Here we go. Rage forced out. Now maybe the Echo Stomp. It will connect. It wake him up from the slumber, and there's too many creeps nearby to intercept the damage. Now Solo comes joining the party. Skylark taking a lot of damage. Will get right-click down, and they turn it back the other way. Now Spartan on the run. Just brown boots. Not going to be able to buy his Tranquils. Oh, yes, he does. He gets just enough money in time. And Elder Titan will fall. Minimal losses for him, though.
That was such a low percentage play, though. I don't know why they dove that, honestly. You forced out the Mango. That was the win in itself.
Yeah.
Just good rotation from Solo, though, of course. That is going to be required in order to get that kill.
If there wasn't a creep wave there, maybe the Clockwork can get that kill if you have guaranteed battery assault damage, but immediately he wakes him up and it just goes straight onto the creeps, and it's an easy getaway with a Phase Boots Lifestealer. I mean, he's pretty fast.
And race car is back, baby. I guess they don't buy the SNY anymore these days, but that armlet itself will be coming out soon. No move speed, but a little bit of damage. You know, I've seen a couple Lifestealers do well lately. Not sure, you know. Might have dominated a qualifier or two.
I mean, we did see Lifestealer Ricky yesterday in all of its glory. Thug in the mid lane, silenced. Echo Stomp comes in, though, sets it up on 2. Any follow-up? No. Thug goes back in. Actually could potentially get silenced again. It is nighttime after all. Night Stalker coming in. That Clinton Spear is now off cooldown. Crypt Swarm brings him low, but Thug has the raindrop, and it actually keeps him alive. Now Solo caught inside of the cogs. Echo Stomp shuts him down. Chakram slows him down, and this should be the end of the Night Stalker. Skylark turns, and it's the Spartan on Elder Titan that gets the credit for the kill. Big commitment here from Finem, but they do find the better of it in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Skylark's making the right play coming into this too, because even though he went Iron Town, he does still need to be in the engagements, get that experience, to get 6 as soon as possible. It is a little bit on the later end perhaps here, as he's not quite up there at the 8-minute mark, but getting close. And the big plays come out here with the Elder Titan.
Yep. Madara's down bottom, just farming away. Getting a lot of solo time to himself. Number 2 on net worth, only second to that of the mid laner on Vega, the Death Prophet. I'm curious what build Madara goes for here. I think probably just straight Battle Fury. Farm it up, make sure you have a farming tool to propel you into the late game. I mean, they've got great heroes for a kind of 4+1, so I think you should have plenty of space to use it.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, Timberstall's gonna be farming as well, right? It kind of depends. I think if Solo had been more active or with the Darkseer, they'd actually pressured bottom and gotten to a point where there was a threat coming in from that into that nighttime at 12 minutes, then he might be more concerned about an earlier item build. And because then once exorcisms start coming online, it's going to be that momentum based from no one, where he's going to be like, alright guys, I have that R button, let's go take an objective with it, either Roche, Towers. Again, something I guess we didn't really talk about with that whole exorcism fire side, but
Night Stalker, he's got darkness. He dings level 6 after leeching the XP from the stack that Madara just spun down. And now he's gonna go hunting, just cruising through the enemy jungle, drops a ward down. Oh, never mind, that was down already, but nice ward for Night Stalker hunting. See if he can find anything mid here. Maybe next time gonna be up on the high ground.
Oh, he is so squishy.
He might actually find him. Night Stalker.
Level 2 Void though. He's
Right
place,
early. Right time. No one nearby also. Courier flying overhead. Kind of scouts it out. Solo not going to be able to find much. Bittersweet for him.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an odd darkness pop. I guess just using the fear right here. If that'll promote a little bit of instability. This guy, like he's not contesting up last hits or anything like that. Now he's backing, not sure where they are. So overall, it does have some effect, but now it'll wear off here.
Oops, Skylark initiated on, but the darkness has expired. Daytime, not going to commit much to that. I'm just going to zone him out as FN continues to lay into the tier 1 tower up top. Finem, though, it looks like they want to make a defense. There's a hook shot.
Ready, baby. Next there's a Death Prophet here, so they're definitely not ready. And there's also not 6 on the line. That's like his only buddy to make this worth. And they lose their courier. Also
a double damage rune on the Death Prophet. She's going to go mid. There is a fight set up here, right into the Echo Stomp. Gets off the Spirit Siphon, healing up like mad. Gonna go hard onto Spartan with the double damage. Actually has the damage to cut through it in time. And the Beefcake gets taken out.
Dire's bottom tower
Well, this is pretty depressing for Madara. He's going for the Vanguard build, which I can appreciate. I think that the overall aggression and the lack of like a super propellant from Skylark, like he's not a crazy Clockwork who's snowballing right now. You know, he's gonna try right now, though. This would be a huge kill for him.
Yep, right in onto no one. The Exorcism comes out. This could be a big kill if they can bring him down, but the Spirit Siphon just doing too much. Skylark now getting turned on. The Crypt Swarm. The Ghost will chase him down. No one gets credit for the kill. Thug coming back with some return damage, but it's just not enough. No one is too tanky right now. So unfortunate for the Clockwork.
Welcome to Death Prophet, I guess, here, boys. So, you know, somewhat good hero when she pops that ultimate. At least it'll stop him from getting a big objective, but the fact that Clockwork again gets slowed down really makes his Vanguard buy better.
No one needs to be careful here. His ult is just about to expire. He will get healed up, but
man,
oh my, just in the nick of time.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing his limits, I suppose, but definitely living life on the edge there. Does create some space for FN to finish off that tower up top. He's gone armlet just straight into the Blightstone. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Rasta wards come out on the tier 1 tower. Vega trying to take objectives around the map. Oh, there's a hook shot. It's in onto Mag. He gets vacuumed out of the cogs. Now the wall comes down. What a play from the Darkseer. Now Skylark on the run, Solo trying to chase him down. Darkness has come back up, but a great 3-hero stomp from Spartan completely breaks up the fight. Now Timbersaw joins the party, cuts down the Night Stalker. Rasta wards do finish off the tower, and the rest of Vega start to disengage. Wow, that could have been a lot worse for Vega. In the end, they trade their Night Stalker for a tower and force a big reaction out of Ad Finem. Really not too bad.
Yeah, and watch for that play again throughout the game too, because that's the one thing that you'll always see these top-tier Darkseer players do, is abuse those cogs. It was one of those things that used to come into play a lot more often when Clock was actually picked, but when we're up against each other, you can really trap the enemy team inside the cogs, because of course Clockwork's the one that can deny them. So sometimes like Clock might not even be inside the cogs, or he's already dead or something, and some of his allies get stuck. It can be rather troublesome.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't get to see it too often, especially since the Clockwork's not picked, like you were saying. But I like this kind of stuff. Very crafty. We've seen Darkseers time and time again make big plays in this tournament, and the trend will continue here. Lifestealer moving into the Echo Saber next with that quarterstaff, just a casual Blightstone for now. I like the choice, though. It does help you siege those towers a little bit more. It actually puts a debuff on the tower, so all those right clicks from the creeps do actually add up, and just natural synergy with all that physical damage from your Rasta wards, your Exorcism spirits. Smart choice. It's a little thing, but it does help.
Yeah, speaking of those Rasta boards, I mean, you can see it right down bottom. They don't have a very good way of dealing with this at all. Their only ranged hero, of course, being the Lion, and none of those other cores really want to get up close to the Rasta board. Like, Timbersaw can't afford, obviously, to be doing that. I mean, not alone just because Chakram makes it so he can't right-click, but just because he's way too busy during these engagements.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Sieging, very good.
Yeah, it's true, and they have a lot of ways to kind of protect the wards, too. You don't really want to charge into the Death Prophet with her ultimate, so they can create these zones when they fight, where Ad Finem don't really have a choice but to disengage. Rasta wards plus Exorcism is not something you want to fight into, even if you're pretty far ahead. And here we go, Rasta wards come down, Echo Stomp to start things off, maybe drops the finger onto Shadow Shaman, but it's not enough for a kill. He sidesteps the Chakram, now the back wall. They do end up getting the kill on the Lion. Ad Finem on the back foot. Echo Stomp again helps break up the fight, but they're charging in deep. Omni Slash does minimal damage. Madara in a world of hurt. They'll bring down Thug first. It's a disastrous fight for Ad Finem so far, and it's not done quite yet. Spartan off to the side gets caught by open wounds. He'll be brought down, and Madara killed by no one through the Exorcism Crypt Swarm combo. It's a 1 for 4, and the Shadow Shaman got his wards down. So while they did that, the Tier 1 tower fell. It's another great fight for Vega. About a 2K net worth swing once more.
Yeah, any fight that starts out with Finger of Death not killing someone from your team and you have a Vanguard Jug is probably not going to go too well at 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good way to summarize that fight. It was a noble effort, but Shadow Shaman, he's kind of all right being the sacrificial lamb as long as those wards come down. I think that really is the biggest thing. He doesn't even have a point in Hex. He knows he's not going to be up in the front lines getting that initiation off.
And soon he can probably just build right into Aether Lens as well. And honestly, he's not going to be that far away from it, or having the Arcane Boots. Maybe he'll be picking up a lot of support items, though, as Solo will be the next priority here. Building in towards 14 minutes. Lineup, I'd be okay with the Midas, but I'd really just like to see a point booster. Maybe he'll just buy now.
Yep. And how is the Jug doing? He's got his Vanguard. That's it, man. That's it. What do you think about Vanguard Jug in general? I haven't really seen this as much. I feel like the Vanguard Anti-Mage is something I've seen a lot more commonly. Uh-oh, maybe hold that thought. No one up top. TP's right into it. Skylark was hiding in the trees. Gets up a hook shot, but now Earth Splitter flying in. No one getting low. Yule Scepter not enough to save it. Mag does TP in, so does FN. They're looking for some counter kills. Might be able to bring down Spartan. Vacuum into wall. Sets up an easy double kill. Vega turn it 1 for 2. Still not ideal to lose their Death Prophet, but at least they get something here. Thug still going to be able to make it out. So yeah, Vanguard Jug, what are you thinking?
I think if you're actually playing together as a group and going through these objectives, then that's when this Vanguard would really actually be shining. And let's say he's up top, like with the Timbersaw, the Clock, the Elder Titan, they might be able to fight that. There can tank up quite a bit of the damage. He gets in with the right clicks. He's gone 3 points into Healing Ward. So there is some sort of an idea here between like actually being grouped up together, not solo trying to get now into that Battle Fury where maybe he can create enough space that Thug will actually be able to go to work. But the fact that Clockwork's so far behind, the fact that Thug's just not like massively ahead and doesn't have that Bloodstone quite yet, it just makes this Vanguard so defensive with very little like actual fight-making capabilities.
Well, now the Roche Pit going to be open for Vega, Lightstone, as well as the Serpent Wards, making this a pretty easy Roche. For 16 minutes, they're killing it pretty quickly with 2 heroes. Going to move out and try and pick a fight, maybe intercept this smoke rotation from Finem. Exorcism going to be used. No one pokes his head into the pit. Now they'll scout it out. Elder Titan with the Spirit. They might need to back out here. The Roster Ward's doing a lot of damage. Finem have an opportunity to move in and try and snatch the Roche. Going to be difficult against this Exorcism, and they're not going to go for it. They'll just hand it over. Lifestealer gets the Aegis. And that'll be the end of it. Vega get an uncontested Roche. They have to burn a couple ultimates for it, but they do assert their dominance and posture for a team fight.
Yeah, a really good way to back out of that too, not offering any sort of catch potential here from the Clockwork. And, well, fortunately for Finem, there's virtually 0 catch really to pair up with this Night Stalker. We talked about that Disruptor and how effective we've always seen that be. It's like catch 1 additional here with a glimpse of something, or even like a Night Stalker plus Clockwork would be pretty great. And in this case, it's difficult for Vega to punish in those scenarios. However, they have just this massive push through Exorcism and Wards instead that really makes them difficult to deal with from Finem. At least they get a free tower mid.
Well, not entirely free. They do trade 1 for 1. Bottom tier 1 goes
Take
down. But yes, they do get a tower. Echo Saber's been up on the Lifestealer for a while. It looks like no one's just going to go BKB next item on the Death Prophet. You don't really see this build too often, but there is a lot of magic damage on Finem. We've already seen the power of this Echo Stomp just breaking up these team fights, being an irritant. All the Hex burst damage from Lion, even the Juggernaut, the damage from Blade Fury is not insignificant. So BKB will let this Death Prophet really be aggressive in these next few fights. Down bottom, oh, nice Hex onto Madara. Sayoma still going to be able to walk away. Timbersaw does finish off that tier 1 tower up top. Vega looking to re-engage this fight.
This BKB's like potentially game ending as they surge on forward here, and nice little spin there from Madara, but there's an natural Force Staff hero here for Vega, so no one's going to be able to save, no one. He's just going to have to use BKB here to make sure he'll be okay in the cogs.
They are fighting around these Roster Wards so well though. Echo Stomp into Earth Splitter, connects on 2, actually falls short to hit solo. Finem not going to be able to defend this. I think Vega will be happy to just trade the Roster Wards for a free tier 2 tower. We're 18 minutes in, so just claiming these objectives is absolute value town. Aegis Carrier going to be tanking it up. He's got the armlet.
Oh,
no. Going to throw away the Aegis there. That's a little unfortunate.
Oh, he goofed.
Probably not intentional.
No.
That's okay. At least he had the Aegis.
Also, I just realized Meg can just buy a 4 stack actually, so I think he should skip Blink this game, go for that, and then just completely remove this Clockwork from the game, using the BKB on no one and then the 4 staff from Meg.
I like that actually. He does have about 2k gold. Something tells me he's still going to go for the Blink, but they could still go back for a 4 staff. Maybe Sayoma's going to be the one to buy it. He's picked up a Staff of Wizardry, not going for the Aether
buying it. He's disappointing me, Meg. Come on, Meg, you know better than this. Clockwork game.
It's a Clockwork game. Yeah, 4 staff really is the classic counter to Clockwork though. And there it is. Blink Dagger comes out. Dyer's Courier gets picked off. No cargo on it. No one in the tree line. They know he's nearby. We're going to take a look at Radiant Vision. Looks like he might have uked him out. He does get pinged. Come on, Clockwork. Do you actually believe in your pings, buddy? Oh, DP's already left. Juking and jiving. She will make it out. Nicely done.
Yeah, there's a Radiant Ward over there though, and she just ran past it, so...
They know they were uked. This Night Stalker is actually pretty close to Ags. About 800 gold away.
Yeah, his decision really paying off here not to go for that Might. It's just because they immediately got a bunch of objectives and Roche. So, no need for that real cash infusion provided by his team instead, and just going to come online so much earlier.
Rocket Flare flying to the mid lane. Gonna scout things out a little bit.
Oh, Sioma got a 4-staff. There we go. Oh, life's good.
Yep. So, a tool to deal with the Clockwork Thug going in here onto no one. Earth Splitter to follow up the Echo Stomp. He actually uses the BKB, ready to turn and fight. Mag with the back wall on 2. Follow up Shackles on Thug. He's silenced, locked down, and brought down. It's a quick 2-for-0 going the way of Vega. DPS to use for BKB for it, but it proves worth it. Now they rotate up top. Madara gets pushed back. Not going to be able to siege this tower for free. The rest of the team, meanwhile, beelining it down the mid lane. Still about half duration left on the Exorcism, and they want this tier 2 tower.
Oh, that was a pretty good blink by Meg, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, catching out their key disabler.
Oh, shot in onto Solo. He's going to be locked in place, but there we go. Vacuum again, right outside of the cogs. Echo Stomp connects on 4 heroes.
Oh, Madara, he's thinking about it.
Looking to set this up. Is Madara going to go in? Omni Slash onto Solo, secures the kill. But the Rasta wards have come down. A lot of pressure onto this tower. At Finem with 5 alive. They are just going to go in and try and finish these guys off. Deny on the tower. Not going to happen. Gets finished off by old Cardi there. Credit going to the Dire. Still Vega. Pretty okay with this, I think. They lose their Night Stalker. Get 2 kills in return and a tier 2 tower. Still finding an advantageous trade.
Yeah, they're still just slowly choking out this map here. And Thug's Bloodstone now. It's 9 charges at the very least, getting back there, but it does make it more difficult for him to farm back into some sort of position to help his team. You can see he is going for the team build, head to that Pipe of Insight. That'll be enough to slow down some of this damage, but honestly, like... Wait, what? Why is he building Pipe? Actually...
What?
Uh-oh. That's not going to be too handy. I mean, it's kind of one of those natural items, I guess, for a Timber Saw, but...
No, Shivas, dude. Get Shivas here.
Radiant's bottom tower
It's a ways away, I guess, and maybe it won't be effective enough.
But what does the pipe even help against?
There's like Infest
Darkseer, Infest Bomb, Ether Shock. I agree with you. I'm not totally sold on it. There's just so much physical damage, especially the Exorcism. That's really where the bulk of this damage is coming out. That and the Rasta Wards.
It's almost like a Crimson Guard game, but I think it's just the stats overall from the Pipe are just so superior to a Timber.
Yeah, that's true. The regen is really nice. And he is the frontliner. I mean, he can make use of the active. Okay, well, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I still think Shiva's is quite good if he can get it up next. Get him a little extra armor, survivability, and also just that utility flow is so good. Yeah, no one initiated on. Oh my god, Finger into Earth Splitter. He dodges it with the Yules. BKB, if he lives here, oh my good gracious, he will. Spirit Siphon comes out. It's a turn for the ages. 2-for-0 the other way. Vega, not a game-winning fight, but certainly a demoralizing one, as Ad Finem get completely turned around upon.
Unreal. Just that Yule's coming out at the last possible moment. Stun's just not quite lasting long enough here, and oh, it's depressing. I would just be so demoralized right now if I'm Ad Finem. I'm just ready to like leave this game. You know? Now he's up to 2,300 gold for no one. He can purchase up something, gets a casual plate mail just to stack even more armor up on their side. Things are looking pretty damn good. FN, he's at that point for our life stealers these days. Echo Saber, Armlet, Deso, and then 1,700 gold. He can get a blink if he wants just to totally end this.
Absolutely. Tier 2 tower falls. I thought we were actually going to have another fight here. But nope, they don't defend it. Madara, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. TP out, just barely makes it. Desolator has come for the lifestealer. And he actually clicks really hard now, even through magic immunity. Uh-oh, there's a trap brewing here. Mag comes in, back wall on 2 again. Follow up. That'll be the end of the lion right away. Spartan, he will be able to make it back to the base, but very cheeky play there from Vega. They leave the wards. They think it's free farm, and they just jump in and take a fight. Now no one in pretty deep. He does have an Exorcism. Steoma nearby, but this time I think he might just let it go. Spirit Siphon trying to keep himself alive. Pops the BKB.
Not again.
Actually healing up quite a bit. Is this going to be the same story, different chapter? Now Thug coming in. Can't quite slow him down. The pipe will stop any damage that she's got, and down she goes. They get the high prize kill on the Death Prophet. She makes him work for it, though. That's for sure.
Oh, jeez. That would have been so depressing. A nice little solo kill up top there as well for Skylark, so pretty good for him. Saw 500 gold taking on that Shadow Shaman. You know, road to recovery perhaps. Haven't lost the racks or anything like that. Overall, the farm, 10k though, for the side of Vega. The fact they lost that Aegis to that tower actually really hurting them.
Yeah.
Imagine they really could have closed it out.
Maybe could have gotten more out of it than that, but It looks like Finem want to be the aggressors now, realizing that they're pretty far behind. They want to try to take some objectives. This Vanguard still feels like kind of a mistake on Madara. He just hasn't been able to fight with it. 2-2-2 in 25 minutes is a fairly passive game overall. He went for the Battle Fury anyway. He's slowly recovering his farm. Almost #1 on net worth. He's been staying in the game pretty well. I guess it's the rest of his team that's been getting starved out. Elder Titan, point and center. He's just going to get caught by the Infest Bomb. And now with a Blink Dagger on the Lifestealer, there's no getting away from him.
Yeah, no solo required anymore. You know, he didn't really have the natural blinking kind of Infest Bomber besides the Darkseer, so he's just going to do it himself this game.
And look
no
at that,
Storm Spirit or
Madara
Puck.
just has to instantly TP out. This is scary stuff.
That is one nice thing about this game for a Jug, though. You know, nothing to pierce through that until there's some sort of a Abyssal or something coming out here.
Yep. Baby Vega waiting out for next Roche. It is going to be a long respawn, close to the max timer here.
Depending on how many kills they get in that defense of the Roche. You know, if things go well for them, that second, or I suppose it'll be like the third or fourth tier of items for a lot of these heroes right now. It'd be, I actually thought maybe FN would go back for the AC because he lost the Aegis, but maybe we'll just see that on DP this game. Not exactly the most common, of course, usually going for Shivas and the Octarine core, but in terms of overall timing with the Roche, if they do just want to try and click the Zito, they could do that, but I don't really feel like the timing, you know, necessitates that. Like, just leave the AC for FN, he can grab it in a little while.
No one about to break the smoke, but Skylark actually hook shots in. Earth Splitter will connect on no one. Pops the BKB, will live on the backline. Skylark just gets destroyed as he goes in a bit too deep. Yule's Scepter on to maybe next time. Hex probably not going to be enough to save him. DP just going to get a solo kill up here as they bring down the Elder Titan in the middle of the fray. Lion does not have a Blink Dagger. Will survive longer than he should. No TP either. Is he actually just going to let him go? Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just not even worth it, honestly. Like, why bother chasing around trees? Let's just go end it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Still an Exorcism available for no one, so he just wants to get right to the base and go for objectives. Yeah, that's a good point.
The creeps come back mid, nice, and delay ever so slightly.
Yeah, Madara pushing the bottom lane. Now the roster wards come out. The glyphs already been used by Finem. They will have Clockwork as well as the Elder Titan respawning soon, but they're going to lose at least one lane here. No tier 2 towers remaining, so they can just shift to the other lanes and continue the siege. Tier 3 up in the bottom lane, getting low, but Sayoma will TP back to deal with it. Meanwhile, Lion caught, drops the finger. Solo might actually be the one that goes down. Geometry Sight hits the deck, hook shot in onto Mag. Might not be too bad for Finem after all. The Death Prophet still alive, ultimate with a little bit of duration left. She wants to just get out of there, and the gem will be handed over. Finem. They bring down the Night Stalker, so they do get a pretty high value kill there. However, they don't quite defend the mid lane. Range Barracks still standing, melee have been killed, and they just do some decent damage to the tier 3. Definitely not a good trade for the Radiant squad.
Oh, they're trying some of their plays. If you guys have caught any of Finem's recent games in the past couple weeks, there have been some seriously great map movement played out by them. Like in these kind of situations, they have battled back against some of the better teams, used that abuse of split push, and Madara going for those kind of plays. And he did it once again here down in that bottom tier 3, but TP's back, able to shut him on down, so not going to work out this game. It looks like, I mean, we'll see if they can keep it up. But
I mean, it was a noble effort, but Trent, I want to turn your attention to the Darkseer.
I know, he nailed it.
He's
Mag
got a
saved
4-staff, man.
Yeah, he would have died there if he didn't go back for it, so I'm really glad he did the whole double mobility.
Yeah, and Timbersaw actually not going to go for the Shivas. That plate mail turns into a Lotus Orb. Pretty good to have against the Shadow Shaman. You can cleanse the Hex, that is becoming a problem. You can also cleanse the Silence from the Death Prophet, so does have some utility here, and I guess a couple okay things to reflect. If you can manage to Echo Shell Spirit Siphon, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're, how I think a lot of other Timber players would have taken a really different build this game. Like the casual Hood, I would be okay with, but maybe an earlier Yules, for example, looking at Night Stalker is really common. And then even still into a Lotus Orb, just because of how many silences overall there are. But in the end, though, he's kind of cleaning it up here as he does get that Lotus Orb, so that'll be enough to keep him up and active during these fights. Because overall, like, he doesn't get Hex, the control's not too bad other than silences. There's no big lockdown stuns.
Yeah, I am a little surprised that like he valued Pipe over BOTs, for example. In a game like this, you can usually ping-pong around the map, put some split pressure on in that style that you were talking about. He's just sitting on brown boots for a while. So we'll see where the build goes from here. Vega grouped up in their jungle. They're posturing like they want to make something happen in the top lane, but Ad Finem will just disengage. Roshan has respawned. This is Roshan number 2. Gets scouted out by Ad Finem. Rocket Flare goes flying on in. Honestly, a little surprised that Vega haven't tried to make a play for it yet.
I think it's a
System wards
hold play.
available. They could go at any time.
It's kind of like we have items that we're still building, like we're at an awkward ground, like there it is right there. Now that the AC is up, they'll want to go Roche now so they can actually get the most use out of the Aegis, not just like...
Also, Shiva's on Death Prophet.
Yeah, that too. So it's not like, take it and then like, oh wait guys, I need to farm for 2 more minutes for my AC, like then you're just wasting time on a Roche. It's not like there's any quest whether or not they get this, I don't think. You know, of course there could be a miracle play from Ad Finem, but now with these new items up, they're just even stronger going in.
Smoke from Vega. It's getting pinged out like crazy. Radiant have a good idea of what's going on here. Dire lacking vision. They do have wards over on the high ground. And they get a little bit of intel as to the movements of this Radiant team. They want to go straight for blood, though. They want to pick off before they go into the Roche pit. Clockwork gets silenced. Force Staff buys them some time, but they've got a counter Force Staff for FN. Clock will be the first kill, and now they're going to focus elsewhere. Omni Slash, bring in the Shadow Shaman low. He will actually die. Earth Splitter, not going to do a hell of a lot. Solo caught by the finger, but it's still looking like an okay fight for Vega. There's the back wall. Thug, Silence, taking a lot of damage, will commit suicide with the Bloodstone. They interrupt the TP out. Lion dies. It's a 1 for 3. Good use of the Exorcism, and they'll still have about half duration left as they move into the Roche pit. Looks like it'll be another good fight for Vega, and they'll be rewarded with another objective. On the other side, kill. Spartan, it's going to be a 1 for 4. He does have a Force Staff.
It's only a matter of time versus the Night Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he can Echo Stomp TP home. A noble effort, but nope, Mag's there. He's got the interrupt.
Solid tactical feed there from our Shadow Shaman before dropping down wards. I saw it. I mean, he tried to throw them down, but he died first, and now he'll have them for the push. All intentional, all according to plan.
Yep. A little unfortunate for him, but it's now looking like Vega just have superior resources. They're kind of just running them down. You know, Ad Finem had a lot going their way that fight. It wasn't the best Earth Splitter, but still, Vega just had superior resources after the Finger of Death came out. Felt like there was a real lack of damage. Clockwork was borderline useless that fight. I mean, he didn't do anything. He got silenced, or stabbed away, and then just got killed.
Yeah, just some good focus. They're very disruptive. Clockwork can always be. So Madara's doing his thing up top here, but he's going to get found up by Solo. It is daytime, so a little bit harder to track him as he goes on the run. Again, though, they still don't have a way to pierce this KB. Or rather, Magic K, I should say. Just spin, go home.
Yeah, looking for him here with the vacuum. He did pick up a Manta-style neck, so starting to move into a more damage-oriented build, hitting for over 200 in auto attack. He is kind of online, but still very scary against the Life Stealer Death Prophet duo. He's going to come back in and actually focus on this tower. He wants to try to finish it off. Madara will TP home. Not going to be able to get the tower. Instead, it does get denied by Mag's Darkseer. TP out. Lion will live. And in the tree line, Skylark, he's going to TP home as well. Ad Finem with no choice but to completely disengage. And now it looks like Vega will just continue the siege. All their ultimates available in 5 seconds. And they've got the Aegis. Hey, but look at mid.
Yeah, they're still doing it, you know. They're getting that a little bit, but not that it really matters. I mean, they'll creeps tickling a tower, and now they have to get ready to defend high ground. Alright, no pressure to Spartan, but you're kind of the big key here.
Alright, we need a 5-hero Earth Splitter.
Yeah, they really do.
Can he make it happen? Rasta wards come down, Exorcism used. They do have a glyph. There it is. We're going to zoom out big to see all the positioning here. Ad Finem in a very defensive posture. No one coming in. Remember, he's got the Aegis. Pops the BKB. And they're just completely repelled. They can't take the fight. There's just this wall of do not pass. They'll get the melee barracks. They'll get the range. Hook shot in. Skylark breaking up the fight. Is it actually going to be enough, though? He just gets hexed. Now the vac wall back in. They bring down 2. Beautiful stun on 4, but it just slows down the inevitable. Now a buyback used by Elder Titan. Honestly, it doesn't matter, though. Vega got what they came for.
Vegas. Sorry, he got melee, though. Oh, no, no.
Or
yeah,
did he? Or did he?
Madara, please.
Vacuum? Oh, he doesn't have it. Mag? Oh, God. Wow, it was lucky creep spawn there. Well, I guess not the end of the world for Ad Finem. Madara does make something happen to try to level that out. When you're in this kind of position...
Look, he's trying to mind game.
Pretty good trade.
He tried to do a play there with the illusions.
Oh, he's going to get caught now, though. Vacuum back. Mag's going to chase him down. He does have a Blade Fury, but he doesn't have a TP. His teammates
what a player,
nearby.
honestly.
Wow.
And this is, again, this is what I'm talking about. They've done this in the past couple weeks. Somehow finding these trades in very difficult situations, and ends up getting melee for a melee. They get a range racks on top for Vega, but in the end, we all know those don't really matter, especially when you're in this dire straits here.
Yeah,
Finem.
I mean, it still isn't quite an even trade, though. For Vega to hold off against one lane with melee barracks down, that's very manageable. Now for Finem, they've basically got 2 lanes of barracks down with both melees out, so they have a much more difficult task ahead of defending off these lanes. They can certainly handle it. Having a Battle Fury carrier does make it manageable, but far from ideal. And they're gonna have to split their focus now as Vega just focus on this bottom lane. Now a Basher coming out onto Madara, so it will be that Abyssal Blade looking for some big lockdown to play here from Vega. Do they just go for the bottom? I mean, they've got Exorcism coming up soon. They've got wards. They could just go for this bottom racks and force it out.
Yeah, more than likely here. And it's kind of scary, I guess, without like a real defensive support, and the H to be gone by the time they get there. But the Yules, the BKB, the Shiva, she's built full defensive. No Octarine Core quite yet, but is she on it? Oh yeah, she is. So that'll be up soon. Oh, there it is. Good stuff. Yep, I think you still go high ground then.
Yep. Can't disagree. Heart of Tarask on the Lifestealer, 3,200 HP. Yeah, he is pretty beefy. At this point, he can kind of just rage, focus on the tower, and they can do some pretty gross damage. But here we go. Wrap around the backside. Madara maybe up to something sneaky, but oh no, Skylark, he gets initiated on by Solo. Even if he doesn't kill him, the Clockwork's completely zoned out. They do bring down the Shadow Shaman before he uses his wards. A pretty good start for Finem, but now Thug caught outside of the base, gets destroyed. Will have a buyback available, uses it right away, but now they lose the Lion. No one just doing too much damage. Skylark completely useless in this fight. Honestly, was zoned out, joins the party, and just gets dropped by the DP without doing a lick of damage. Buybacks coming to plenty here. Clockwork does have one available. He's going to hang on to it for now. Lifestealer almost forcing a dieback onto the Lion. Force Staff with the Ion Shell Rage is pretty scary. No glyph available for Finem. They'll do what damage they can to the tier 3, and now the Clockwork buys back. Abyssal Blade onto no one. Finem want to get something from all of these buybacks used. 3 of them deployed, and they actually get it though. Dara chopping away, no one with the BKB. Spirit Siphon actually healing him through it. Echo Stomp does break up the fight. Solo comes back into the party. Now Thug doing what damage he can, but everybody is silenced, it feels like. Madara going blow for blow with Solo. This is not going to be a fight that Finem can win. They just don't have the resources. Dire getting low. They're going to lose 2, but FN still alive, as is no one. The Spirit Siphon still keeping him up. The Cogs slowing down FN, but now Skylark on the run. It's a crazy ring around the Rosie. They do manage to bring down the Death Prophet. It's a defensive hook shot away. These Cogs actually, the Cogs combined with the Elder Titan Echo Stomp, it broke up that fight so much they were able to do it, kind of. Remember, they used 3 buybacks to clean up those kills. Even sort of winning that isn't enough, and it's not over yet. Now Thug, he hangs around too long. Sayoma blinks over the tree line. Crowd controls into the right clicks. Bring him down, and FN's godlike streak continues. 15-0-6. You might kill his friends, but the Lifestealer is the big bad boss you got to kill in the end.
Yeah, it's pretty depressing when you buy back on 3 heroes and then have numerous deaths after that, and still somehow with 4 kills they end up on top in the net worth exchange. So much expend here in resources from the side of Finem, and I guess they saved their tier 3. They did leave the game perhaps a little bit longer, but as just said, then he's completely out of control.
Yeah,
it's got nothing left to gain. Boots of Travel now up top of him. All that's left to ditch will be that armlet for some terrifying.
Moonshard, that's the one upgrade he's got left. Get that extra attack speed. He is so scary. A very well-rounded build also. A lot of armor, a lot of HP, and with the Desolator, it gives him that nice extra bit of damage so that he really is a scary force. Those odds vastly in favor now of Vega, as they well should be. Another kill going the way of FN.
Just Boots of Travels in, blinks. There's nothing he can do.
Yeah.
Raging onto a
built-in
poor blinkless
BKB.
Lion.
And this is that stage of the game where Rage becomes a little nicer because it is a 6-second duration compared to the BKBs, which are pretty much all down to 5 seconds now. So he is a little bit stronger. Cogs going to try to delay this a little bit. No one on the low ground, just uses the exorcism nice and early. He's got the Octarine core now, so doesn't have to worry about that cooldown nearly as much. Madara goes in, Abyssal Blade, Omni Slash, takes no one to about half health. The Earth Splitter not doing much, but now the back wall on 3. Ad Finem in a lot of trouble. Seoma the Slayer still hanging on to the Rasta wards. They will take out the tier 3 towers, kind of peripheral damage from the Death Prophet Ghost. Now the wards come down, Spartan gets destroyed in a couple of right clicks. And this should be the end of it. Ad Finem going to hang on just a little bit longer, but there it is. GG's called, 38-16. Vega with very methodical, processed play take out Ad Finem in game 1 of this best of 3.
ProDotA. It's hands of 18, 0, and 7. Damn. That is a hell of a game coming out from him. Just very difficult for them to actually try and lock him down. I mean, we talked about the BKB piercing for Vega. There was really only a hook shot there, so hard for them to actually get a handle. This nice little lifestealer, Omni Slash not gonna be enough damage when he can just instead of that. So very well played. Couldn't quite find the synergy to bring him down, and for all the just a good strategy, I think they really nailed it.